Hey guys, Colby here. Welcome back to another summons video. We're gonna do a quick summon rush. Go take our 15 fragments from this summon rush to get Khro'Kad, the doggy, and honestly, this is the easiest one we had in ages. 15 fragments for the price of about what? 5 sacreds and 200 mysteries. That's pretty nice, right? Six sacreds and 200 mysteries. Pretty nice. If you go a little bit further, 7 sacreds, you get an immortal soulstone, which I think many players will go for this one. It's an easy touch to go and get that one. You pull another sacred, you say, all right, it's kind of worth it. You keep the immortal soulstone, which you should, honestly, with all these champions that are coming in that basically tell you, all right, if you give me a blessing, I'm gonna be so much better. That 5-star blessing, especially for Khro'Kad, which will be coming soon. We are so used to this. It's gonna be something that will add a lot of power to this champion. You get the crit damage. I mean, you kind of need to go all the way, right, for blessings to get those champions to be effective. We've seen it time and time again that blessings are the new huge power up. Well, not new, but it is really impactful, and especially for legendary champions, it just makes them so much better. Once you get the 6-star, it just completely changes the game. Anyway, enough of that. Let's get started. I'm going to do sacreds on this account. I did some void pulls on my main account. I wanted to get Senna. This account has Senna, has everything, all of these featured champions, so there's no reason for me to go out of my way. Although I will say that I could get a couple of copies here and there of these other champions and see where that takes me. I'm probably not gonna go though for the copies. I'm gonna go for this new champion here. She's actually pretty cool. Doesn't provide anything for the account other than just the tick, the red dot that you'll click once and it goes away. It doesn't change any of the teams that I've built, and it just adds another demon spawn to my collection. Maybe useful in the future, maybe can be used as a demon spawn support somewhere in the future. That can be helpful. So let's push, see where this goes, and good luck, right? I hope you guys get better luck than me, obviously. And let's do 7 sacreds. Hoping for a legendary, we'll do a little bit of commentary, see where what champions we get. Actually, I'm very close to pity on the voids, I think. But I'm not going to count that. Also on sacreds, maybe. I don't know. Always lose count. So, Hellgazer, she's alright. She's alright. I mean, cleanse, increase attack, grants extra turn, then an AoE. I don't use her anywhere, not use her in Curse City. So, she's basically fodder, right? I'm going to use it just to level up champions. We have champion training starting tomorrow. So, Franox, okay. Single target attack, triple single target attack, pretty cool. You can steal random buffs from the target, place a block buff if the target has no buffs after this attack. This can actually be very nice for specific encounters where you need the block buffs, but she doesn't really apply anything else other than the decrease in attack and the block buffs. You wouldn't go crazy on her, although decrease attack on the default attack is always useful for champions when you're pushing clan boss. Remember that, guys. Any champion with the default decrease attack helps. It's just it halves the boss's damage, literally. So if you're not running an unkillable or block damage team or a shield team nowadays, these sort of champions help a ton with just helping you push a little bit further, maybe get you to the nightmare team that you wanted. Not gonna say that you would use her in a nightmare team, but it is something that you can think of. So next up, Necro Hunter, another Night Revenant, decreased defense on the A1, again useful for clan boss and stuff. Veil helps reduce AoE damage you take, and a perfect veil if this attack is critical. So you would build him with 100% crit rate. That will give him a lot more damage. Pretty cool. Does an AoE actually if this attack is critical. Nice. All right, and the A1 doesn't do anything if you do a crit, but he's got a crit rate aura as well. Not many players use the crit rate auras because you don't want to be sacrificing all those stats trying to build champions with specifically 81% crit rate. It's a little bit too much, I would say, unless you're building very specific teams, which I did sometimes, but for using them in other content when you're not using the crit rate aura, it just messes up your builds, right? So Cormac the High Speak, decrease speed on the A1, decrease defense, increase accuracy, increase crit rate. Again, with the increased crit rate, I wouldn't build him with 70% crit rate unless you're very comfortable with this skill. Having a 4-turn cooldown doesn't really allow you to have the crit rate on at all times. It's a 3-turn duration buff. 4-turn gives you that extra turn, but then you lose out. When you get an extra turn, you lose out on 1 turn on the buff. So these stay for 2 turns. This goes from 4-turn cooldown to 3-turn because you got that extra turn. So it basically stops you from enjoying that 3-turn duration. It's basically a 2-turn duration buff that you get unless you run support masteries to extend the duration of your buffs, which is also RNG. Cormac's okay for Sylvan Watchers. Wouldn't go crazy building him out though. We're good so far. 4 sacreds, but I don't know. I don't know, guys. Oh, okay. We have Valdrax. He's daily login champion. Leech, fantastic debuff. Hex, also very strong for the Hydra. Many champions have this. You can get this from the Cursed set. And the AoE attack, increasing the duration of debuffs. This is huge. And while hitting Hex, 60% chance of putting one of their skills on cooldown. Doesn't work for the Hydra. Could work for PvP and stuff, but you gotta apply Hex first, right? So 10% chance of stealing the heal each time an enemy under a Hex debuff is about to be healed. Does not work on bosses. That sucks. The amount healed will be the same as it would have been on the original target of the heal, except if the heal is based on the target's health, which will scale with Valdrax HP. That's weird, but I would have loved if it actually stolen the heal from bosses. He would have been so nice for the Nether Spider in Doom Tower, where that big spider heals and you could have basically allowed you to steal the heals. If this was like a guaranteed steal of the heal, it would basically help you so much with the Nether Spider instead of just saying, all right, I just gotta run a heal reduction debuff. So could have been better, honestly. As an epic, could have been better. So we're at 5 sacreds in. As you see, guys, it's all random. Oh, there it is. Hey, we get a Rorick Wormbane. Woo. Okay, at least 1 legendary summoned this weekend. It wasn't on my main account, was on this account. I'm fine with that. We hit our mercy now. It reset. I'm gonna do another summon after this. Maybe we get a back-to-back, but he's got a stun on the default attack. 40% chance of placing a stun. 1 hit attack. 80% chance of decreasing the target's turn meter by 75%. If this skill fully depletes turn meter, 80% chance of stun debuff on all other enemies. So you can use this guy on the spider dungeon all the way to normal 25, where you can actually decrease turn meter. On the later part of the spider dungeon, on the hard mode, you cannot decrease turn meter, so he becomes just a stun champion, but he would need to target the small spiders to do the stun. He cannot fully deplete the turn meter, so unfortunately he won't be placing the stun if the attack goes on the spider, which I think his AI would be hitting the big spider with this one. A3, sorry. Attacks one enemy will ignore 50% of the target's defense. That's cool when you ascend this. Stays the same, but you get a passive for this attack that is defaulting the counter attack that you do for this skill. So you ignore defense always, basically, by attacking here. So this skill will not be blocked by block active skills debuffs. Pretty cool. So he'll always counter attack with this. Is it useful? I don't know. Immune to stun debuffs, deals 15% more damage to bosses and receives 15% less damage from them. Sounds good in practice, but doesn't offer anything as a legendary, guys. Ally speed boost as an aura is nice, but honestly, Vault legendary in my eyes, unless you don't have anything with control. Specifically for just stunning, this can work well. It's a 3-turn cooldown, can work well, can help you a ton because it's a depleting of turn meter. You need to book it out though, so kind of falls off in terms of usefulness. Legendary skill books are not that easy to get in the game, and using them on champion that have limited uses just stops you from enjoying other champions later on if you do hop into some of them, or you get them from a fusion or daily login or something. There's very good champions from there. You can take advantage of all of those, and yeah. So we get Mistress of Hymns as the final one. This is actually a pretty good epic heal. Another continuous heal on the 2 allies with the lowest health. And then we finally get a 2 random ally revive. This works so well for Curse City and can be a support that you can use when you need to use epics to push. So there's that. Those were the summons, guys, on the account. Nothing too crazy. 7 sacreds gets me all the way here. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom. And legendary summons. I'm totally happy with that. I'm not going to push further. Don't need any of these rewards. Got my 15 fragments, and I'm going to run, right? This is the way you do these summon rushes. Honestly, for newer players, you could stop at 2,800 if you do that, and then push with mystery shards if you've got the time. But it does take a lot of time, even with feeding and doing all that. But you gotta be selective. If you're not somebody who's clearing clan boss, if you're not somebody who's clearing doom tower, you don't have so many secrets available for you. So it kind of makes sense. These were the summons, guys. 1 legendary summon, 7 secrets. Yeah, could have got something better. Is he gonna do anything for my account, for this account? No, not really. If I empower him, let's see, do I have copies on this account of him? I've got 2 extra copies. Could make him a +3. Could have. I could do a commission on him, just free up space, but it doesn't make sense to do a commission, right? It's I don't feel like commissions are for the legendaries. It's more for the epics and the rares. And yeah, even the one that I have is just a +1 that's sitting over there, unless this account has more copies that I didn't see. Maybe a +4 already. No, is this guy a +1? Then another 2 copies there. That's it, guys, for today's video. Thank you all. I will see you in the next one. See ya.